Good morning, and welcome. Happy Friday to you. This is Brenda Perryman, and this is the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR, Comcast 20 in Detroit. And I want to tell you, I am so happy to be here today. God has definitely blessed me to wake up this morning because sometimes you feel like you're 90, other times you feel like you're 15. And this morning I feel like I'm 15. And I have a great show for you today. You may want to call in too. Our first guest, I want to get right into this because the valuable information that will be given, you need to listen, especially if you have young people in your lives, if you have a sense of history and everything. You need to listen to my first guest. This is Dr. Nat Pernick. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks, Brenda, for having me on your show.
Oh, I'm happy to have you. I've been trying to get you for a while.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Pernick is the founder of the Detroit College Promise.
Right, Detroit College Promise.
And that's a scholarship foundation, right?
Right, we're a nonprofit. We're a 501c3, and our mission is to motivate Detroit students to make education a priority. And we do it by having guaranteed scholarships just for being in DPS, living in Detroit, and doing some paperwork on time. And so we want every student, starting in kindergarten, to think about being the best that they can be.
Absolutely. Well, you know you're talking to a former
Right.
teacher here, and teaching education is my life still, and children are my life. But I want to ask you a little about yourself, because
Sure.
I think you have an interesting history also. Now, you went to Southfield Lathrop High
Right.
School. You graduated from there, right?
Right, I grew up in Oak Park and Southfield, and graduated from Southfield Lathrop in '75, and then I began my long educational career. I was a math major at Wayne State.
Math.
Took some graduate courses in math, then I went to medical school, got a medical degree at the University of Michigan, and then I got a law degree at the University of Michigan.
You liked school a lot.
I liked school a lot, and that's why I'm so passionate about education, because I know how important it is. And then I went practiced law for a little bit, and then did a residency and fellowship in pathology at Wayne State. And now one of the things, besides running Detroit College Promise, I write as a business a educational textbook for pathologists. So I know how important education is, and so to be giving back with a scholarship program, that makes a lot of sense for me.
Well, let's talk a little about the history of the Detroit College Promise. When did you decide to establish it?
Well, it started at the beginning of, it's been 5 years, so 2008. I'm a third-generation Detroiter. My parents graduated from Central High School in the late 40s.
Really?
And and they got a great education, and it was very important in their lives. And as you may remember, 2007, we're hearing a lot of bad stories about public education. And and I had also heard about the Kalamazoo Promise, and I thought, why don't we do this in Michigan? And I started thinking, well, I don't know about other people. I can't control what they do. But I know how to start things and get things going, and I could do it. I wish I was a zillionaire. I'm just an ordinary guy, but I could start, and we started at Cody High School, and I thought, well, we'll start at one school with a partial scholarship, and every year we'll just try to do a little more and see where it goes. And that's what we've been doing.
So, students from Detroit, this is for Detroit Public School students.
Right. Right now it's open to any Detroit Public School student. You go to our website, detroitcollegepromise.org, and you could sign up kindergarten through 8th grade. It takes about 2 minutes. We basically ask for your name, your school, your grade, address, phone number, email if you have it, and that's it. And then when you are a senior, we'll go to the school and we'll tell you this is what you have to do to get your scholarship. But you have to sign up. We also go to the schools in 9th grade. That's the deadline, is the beginning of 9th grade.
Okay, I see that.
And we'll go and we hand out paper forms. And this year we've gotten we've got over 3,500 ninth graders, which is all the ninth graders. We might have some duplicates. So we have, because we want them all to be motivated to say, doesn't matter if they're the bottom of their class, they can still get a scholarship. They don't want to go to college, that's fine, but it's there if they want it.
Wow, that is amazing. Can you tell me any stories of any students? Do you have any stories of any students who went on and achieved and got the scholarship?
Well, we've got one student. She's at Wayne State. Maybe I didn't ask her, so I won't use her name. But she came from a very poor background, and they just didn't have money. But we helped her get money. Give her some money from us, and then we help get other money. And that's one of the other things we do. We've given out about $110,000 of our money, but we've helped the kids get about $3 million of other money. So, we hope to give out more money ourselves, and as we raise it. But we also serve as a clearinghouse for other scholarships. So, if anybody listening has a scholarship that they want to help promote, go to our website, DetroitCollegePromise.org. Our contact information's here. You can email it to us. Our newsletter goes to 20,000 people, and we tell them about,
Wow.
It may be your Rotary Club has it, or your business, or your church. This is a way to let all the students know, because we want to help them the most we can.
Absolutely. So if you have a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, and they are between kindergarten and ninth grade, please go to the website and say the website
Right.
again,
It's
please.
DetroitCollegePromise.org. You could also sign up for the newsletter, even if you're not, even if you're in Highland Park. A lot of the scholarships are not just Detroit. They're Southeast Michigan.
Oh.
So, we're happy to include anybody. We also tell you about other programs that different groups have, tutoring programs and summer camps that are open to a lot of people. So, sign up for the newsletter.
It's Detroit, and maybe if people are in Highland Park, they can apply also?
Well, the scholarship is just for Detroit Public Schools,
Oh.
but we give information really for anybody
Okay.
that will be useful. So they can't, like I said, they can't technically get our scholarship, but the information will be helpful to them.
And I would suggest if, say for example, if you apply and you are a Detroiter and you move, make sure you keep them updated, because that's what happens, and a lot of people fall in between the cracks because they forget to update their information.
Right.
And that's very, very, very important. So this is a wonderful thing. And I do believe in Detroit Public School students. There are a lot of students there. And like you say, who may be average and they can achieve. This is motivation too.
Right. And my feeling is that, the schools are as good as we make them.
Yes.
As a teacher, it's our job, and I'm a parent of three. My last one's a freshman in high school. I've got two in college. We make the school systems work, and I know a lot of us are busy, but if you go to Bloomfield Hills and Grosse Pointe, those parents are busy too. And when you go to school events, they're packed. And the reason is because the parents know that it doesn't matter how much money they have to be there to make the schools work.
Absolutely.
The teachers need to know that they care about their kids, and the kids need to know that you're pushing them. That's what makes them work. So other part of our message is, parents, you got it. We want you to be involved, because you're part of the recipe for success.
Absolutely. And it's fun being involved.
That's right.
I was in the PTA, and of course my children played sports, and then I had a cheerleader and all of this, and you're at these events and you meet other parents and you have a good time, and the kids get a sense of something, a sense that it's a community.
Right. And I know, look, it's easy for me because my parents, I was always going to college, so it's easy for me. And I know a lot of parents, they didn't go to college, and it may be intimidating and they're not quite sure what to do. But what I'd say is go to the parent-teacher conferences if you haven't. Try to do something a little bit more than you've done. That's what's going to make the schools better. Your kids will be better off, and you'll be better off too, because I think, as you said, you meet a lot of parents. I personally think you will be more successful if you go to school stuff, even if you're a parent, because you'll watch other people and you say, that's a good idea what they're doing. Maybe I should do that too, and it will help you.
Sometimes they could get a good idea from you.
That's right.
Absolutely. And it's just like I was just telling my daughter the other day, because my grandson's in first grade. I said, call his teacher or email her and just find out how he's doing. It's not parent-teacher conference time, but you always keep up. There's a way,
Right.
in the advent of email, we can find out real quickly how our children are doing.
Right. And as more parents do that, I think that's the secret on how the schools get better. You could spend, zillions of dollars on this and that, but really the key is we as parents, for us to be doing more. That's what's going to make it better. And if we do that, then we don't have to worry about other people coming in and trying to run our schools.
Absolutely. That's it. You hit the nail on the head. You don't have to worry about other people coming trying to run your schools. If a good parent group or a group of parents that give support, and some of the schools here do have a lot of
Right.
support.
Yes, there
some
are.
of them do, and some of them minor. It bothered me when I was a teacher where it had parent-teacher conferences, and then the students whose parents really needed to show up did not show
Right.
up.
Right. Well, that's, there's a lot of challenges, and but that's one of the things we want. We want to push the parents because we're saying, look, your kid has a scholarship, and so we have it just for living in Detroit, being in Detroit public schools, and signing up on time.
There are
You have a
benefits.
scholarship, but now that's what we're going to do, and we're going to try to get as much money as we can for them, and we'll help them. But your job is to push the kids. The kids' job is to do the best they can do because you want to be able to use that scholarship at the best school or at the school that you want to, and that's a lot easier if you're working hard in school.
Absolutely. And Dr. Pernick, you have an event coming up
Right.
in February.
We're so happy. We have an event with Reverend Jesse Jackson is going to be working with us. It's February. You go to our website. It's right on the homepage. It's February 12th at the Detroit Historical Museum. It's a conversation with Reverend Jackson and Rabbi Syme, and we're going to talk about some areas common in the past between the African American and Jewish communities. Both communities, I think, have this philosophy that we have a responsibility to make the world a better place.
Yes.
We can't just wait for other people to do it. We have to step up, and of course, we have Martin Luther King Day coming up. A lot of the famous people, we think of them as famous people, but in a way, they're in their own lives, they're just people, and they said, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm sure part of them would like to just sort of sit back and let other people do the work, but they said, you know what? I feel I have to try to make things better.
If I can, I will.
That's right, and so that's one thing, and the other thing is there's a lot of tough problems, and we have to work together. We can always find differences, even with our significant others. We can always fight about little things, but we have to work together on. There's a lot of problems. Work together to figure out what to do and to actually do it, and we hope this event we're going to talk about things that different communities can do. Public education is one area that both groups believe in. Taking, being in charge of our own destiny, making the world a better place. Those are some of the themes, and it's moderated by Bankley Thompson, who many of your
Yes.
viewers know
I just emailed him last night.
from the Michigan Chronicle. So I
Yes.
think it's going to be a great event. It's at the Detroit Historical Museum. It's a great place, but tickets are limited and they're going fast. So go to the website and sign
How
up.
much are the tickets?
It's $25. For those of you who can, we have a VIP reception beforehand. That's a lot more. That's $250. But if you want to meet Reverend Jackson in person, that's an opportunity for you to do that.
Right.
And just sign up at the website again, DetroitCollegePromise.org.
Well, that's going to be a wonderful evening because years ago I was a member of a Black Jewish dialogue group with Dr. Wright. Dr. Charles Wright was in
Sure.
it. We had great dialogue about the community. And, you can form some strategic partnerships.
That's
maybe.
right.
That's very important.
That's right. And there's a lot from the Jewish community. There's a lot of Detroit Public School graduates and a lot of DPS grads from all communities. They want to give back. We want to help make the schools much stronger. It's in all of our interest. Young people today, if we want our kids and grandkids to stay in the area, which a lot of us now do, we have to. They want to be in big cities, we're competing with Chicago and LA and Boston and New York. We want to make Detroit as strong, as attractive as possible, so that our family will want to stay in the area.
Absolutely. And I always said, my philosophy was take care of these young people, because you never know. One might live next door to you. They
Right.
may become your neighbors and everything, and you want to have good neighbors.
Right. Well,
And one of them did move next door to me. Seriously, one of them did move next door to me, and a great person.
well, and the other way, I mean, I'm a pathologist. I do a lot of. We study disease. We study cancer, which is a very difficult disease. Of course, it affects so many people, and I do research on it. And the research, it's really difficult. And we need the smartest minds possible to be working on this. And I've been in the DPS schools, and we have those minds, but some of them are not at their potential. And by helping kids to be the best they can be, some of them, they're going to come up with great discoveries. But we have to help them, because if they're not pushed, they may not think that they can do it. If they just get negative sentiment. So,
Right.
And the teachers try, but it takes a lot of people pushing the kids and being positive and saying, I know you could do it, keep at it. And it's going to benefit us, because they're going to come up with, there'll be great engineers, and there'll be great scientists, and, maybe even great car mechanics or whatever.
Because there's no reason that we have to, the auto industry or their subsidiaries have to constantly go out of the community
That's
to
right.
find people to work.
That's right. We have the talent here, but we have to invest in the talent.
Nurture the
That's right.
talent. We have to nurture it.
That's right. And so in a way, by doing this, it's for my own, and for all of our best interests, because we know it's there, and we just have to, as you said, we have to cultivate it.
Yes, we have to cultivate it. We have to encourage it, because sometimes, and you watch young people develop, once they get over one hurdle, it's like an aha moment. Oh, I
Right.
can do this.
Right.
Then they go for something else. It's like climbing a stair. Right. It's a wonderful thing to see that self-actualization happen, and it can happen.
Right.
And it's good that Detroit College Promise and the teachers and the counselors and the parents, there are a lot of great parents in Detroit.
Right.
A lot of great parents
Right.
who can help them, encourage them to do better. But it's a way to do it.
Right. And I don't mean to be criticizing. I think that everyone just has to do a little bit more. And
Yes.
it's very difficult. We've got the emergency manager. I'm not criticizing him, but it's a very big school district. It's hard to run a big school district. Parents have to be involved in that too. And I know it's hard because everyone's busy, but if we want a great school system, that's just one of the things that
And then
people
you
have to find
get
a way
an
to do it.
emergency manager who really doesn't know education. And that really bothers me about the whole thing. They know numbers, but they don't know the other parts of it. Having been in the arts,
Right.
they take the arts out first.
Right.
The arts leave the schools first. And those are very important. The arts are very important because they get into different intelligentsias,
Right.
like kinesiology, different things that the arts encourage and develop and everything.
Right. Well, one of the things I like to point out about running the schools, we're a democracy. We're really the boss.
Yes.
You, Brenda, myself, everybody who votes or could vote, we're the boss. And when you think about it, what happens if you have a business where the owner's not around? Well, even if you have great employees, it starts to fall apart, and somebody else ends up taking over.
Absolutely.
And I understand, everyone's busy. People are struggling a lot economically. But if we're not asserting our control of the schools and being involved, other people are going to take over, and they're going to do what they think is best, which is not necessarily what we think is best. And that's why
it might not be the best thing,
Right.
period.
Right. So that's why we have to all try to find a way to get more involved. Push your kids, go to school activities. Everyone can't do it, but if you can, go to the PTA, LSCO, go to the school board meetings. Let people know, hey, we don't want you bickering about politics. We want you developing programs to help our kids.
Absolutely. So let's go over the two things again. Detroit College Promise, for people to find out about it and to apply, have their children apply between the grade ages of kindergarten to ninth grade.
Right. Right now they could sign up kindergarten to eighth grade, DetroitCollegePromise.org. There's a button on the upper right-hand side that says student login, and then it will tell you how to sign up. Or our phone number's at the bottom. If you have a question, just give us a call.
Can you give us that phone
Sure,
number?
248 248-646-3269. 248-646-3269. We're actually in Southfield because we have free rent. So I apologize. It's maybe a little inconvenient, but this way, what we do is when people give us money, all of the money, literally all of the money goes to the scholarships because all of our overhead's covered. So that's why we're not, right in the heart of Detroit. At some point, we hope that'll happen.
Yeah, but if your child, this benefits Detroit Public
That's right.
Schools
It's
students.
It's only for Detroit Public Schools students. And then the other thing is the event on February 12th.
Right, and tell us about that lastly.
Yeah. So this conversation with Reverend Jesse Jackson and Rabbi Daniel Syme, it's at the Detroit Historical Museum. Starts at 6:30. Tickets are $25, and you can get the information again if you go to our website, DetroitCollegePromise.org.
Well, I'd like to thank you.
Well, thank you.
You have been a wealth of information, and I'm so thankful for what you're doing for young people in Detroit.
All right. Well, thanks again, Brenda, for having me on your show.
It's been a pleasure. We'll be back in a moment with Megan Mitchell.